Welcome back, grade 6 in Nelson Math, chapter 10, section 1, estimating quotients. Let's do a bit of a review on what division means. Here I have 20 divided by 5. We can take this in a number of different ways. Both of those ways, if I showed you two ways, both of them would still give us an answer of 4. 20 divided by 5 is 4. But this means it can be shown two different ways. I can say I start off with 20 counters and I share them equally into 5 different groups. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, and I put 4 into every group. That is one way of showing division. I can also say I have 20 counters and I make groups of 5. How many groups do I have? Both of those are completely valid. We've been talking about that throughout most of the year. So being able to be elastic and understanding both of those methods is quite important. Please make sure you get this while we are doing this particular section. Today we're estimating. If you want to check your answers with a calculator, please do so. However, I would remind you to please estimate. What our goal is here is that we are able to get a visual of what the value of these numbers are in our head. So please do the estimation as we are going through these calculations. So let's take a look here. A asks 1.7 divided by 3. So this is asking for an estimate. If we're estimating, we want to get a number that's very friendly. So what is a number that we can easily divide by 3? Just think of a regular whole number. We can divide 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. And I said a number there that kind of is, while it's not close to this number, the digits are in the right order for us. So I could look at this 1.7 as 1, 1 and 7 tenths. Or I could look at this number as 17 tenths. If I look at this number as 17 tenths, I could round to 18 tenths. So I can say this: 18 tenths divided by 3. So this is the rounding, remember. So 18 tenths divided by 3. What is 18 divided by 3? This would be one where we can say, well, let's take 3 groups. So if we take 3 groups and I say 18, put them into 3 groups, I would have 6 in each group. So my estimate would be 6. But 6 of what? It's not 6 ones. It would be 6 tenths. And because it's 6 tenths, we could leave it as words, or we could say 0.6. So I know that the calculated answer would be a little bit less than this because I rounded 1.7 up to 1.8. And let's do the same thing with B. If I look at B right here, 12.4 divided by 6, I could round the number down to 12 divided by 6. So if I do 12 divided by 6, I can say 2, like that, and that would be a pretty close estimate. But I think we can do a little bit better. Let's say I wanted to find a friendly number that is easily divisible by 6. Well, 12 already is. We don't have to worry about that. But what about this decimal 4? I could round the decimal 4 up to decimal 6. So now this is like saying, I'm not going to make groups of 6. How about if I make 6 groups? So I have 12.6 and I have 6 groups. We've already done the 12 divided by 6. That we've done already. We can put 2 into every one of those 6 groups. By now I have these 6 tenths. If I have 6 tenths and I have 6 groups, I could put 1 additional tenth into every group. So I could get a closer estimate by saying this is the quotient is 2.1. So that would be a pretty close estimate of 2.1. And as we go through this unit, you'll be able to get an even closer estimate for 12.4 divided by 6. We'll get there, nice and slow, but we'll get there. Our next question, 15.7 divided by 3. our 15 is already a friendly number with 3. 15 divided by 3 we know is 5, and you can say that by calculating 15. You have 3 groups and you have 5 into each of those 3 groups, or you could say make groups of 3. But in this case, let's stick to make 3 groups. So I have this 0.7 here. In other words, this is 7 tenths. Is there a number of tenths that I could divide by 3 very, very, very easily? The answer is yes. I could estimate round the 0.7 to 0.6 to make it 6 tenths. 6 tenths, if I put those into 3, I get 2 tenths per group. So I could estimate that as 5 decimal 2. So that's pretty close. It's not exact, but it is pretty close. And lastly here, the 9.5 divided by 2, I could round this to 10 divided by 2. If I did 10, divided by 2. So that's a pretty rough estimate. We could do that. But what about if I chose a different, closer, friendly number? I could take this, for example, and say 95 tenths, or I could change it to 96 tenths. If I take 96 tenths and I divide that by 2, put that right there, and I divided it by 2, I could then take my 96 tenths, make 2 equal groups. So this is like saying I could take the 90, and that's 45 into each group, and then the 6 and 3 into each group. So this would end up being 48 tenths. In other words, this, if I take 48 tenths, I could take 40 of those tenths and make a 4. I could take 8 of those tenths and make a 0.8. All of these methods are completely valid. If you want to use converting to tenths, that's amazing. If you want to try making it the whole number, you could do that too, and then moving decimal around based on your estimate. If you want to use a place value chart like we've been doing for the past few weeks, you can go ahead and do that. All of those are valid ways of completing these estimates. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.